Okay, before we jump into the back feeding 2-to-1 SERP, I just showed the harvest I did. I never showed what I got out of it. I'm gonna heft it quick. I'm gonna guess there might be 40 pounds of honey in there, 30, 40 pounds maybe. Maybe more, I don't know. But we did get some honey harvest. So that's capped. We'll just go through each of these frames. Those are all capped. So that's nearly a full frame. I gotta go back to this other one because it's being stubborn. There we go. Don't have my hive tool. So that's all empty. Ah, that smells wonderful. That's all empty comb on the outside edge. Inside edge of that same frame actually is capped like 2/3 of the way down, so that's pretty good. That explains kind of why they went a little panicky. They're a little light in the bottom, and we took off a huge chunk of their honey resource. So now we owe them. But capped about a half a frame there. The rest of that's all drawn out. That'll be nice for next year. Again, same here. And I'm not going to extract any of this honey, I think. I'm just going to hold on to this in frame form. And then if we have to supplement bees in the spring or help a new colony get up and running, we have actual honey. And that is so much more effective. The next one, this is the fourth one in. Similar pattern here. Number 5, a little more empty. Some nectar and some pollen on there. That's interesting. Give you a shot direct. And I'll try to take you a little closer here. I don't know how well, with the horrible light angle we have, the camera will pick it up, but that's that one. Yep. A little bit of nectar on the inside of that, capped on the outside edge. A little bit of pollen or bee bread or something there. Same on this. A little bit of nectar, not totally capped. Same on this other side, capped on the outside edge, of course, like the others. That was number 6. This is number 7. Same kind of thing. Nectar a good portion of the way down on that one, actually. That one a little less nectar, mostly just drawn comb or capped. This is number 8. Same pattern, same kind of thing. Tiny little bit of nectar on there. Some pollen or bread or something. That smells so nice. That one's pretty nicely, about 2/3 of the way full, capped. A tiny bit of nectar in the top edge of that, but most of that's just drawn comb. This is pretty much same thing. It's either capped or just drawn comb, no nectar to speak of. That was number 9. Number 10 on the other outside edge here. On the inside edge of that, Same thing, capped or drawn comb, but no nectar in between. And this outside is a good portion drawn, but not completed. So that sets us up for a really nice stable base for starting in the spring next year. I'm going to keep these on the frames so we can drop these in and support our bee colonies in the spring if we need them. And I probably honestly just shouldn't have robbed it from them at all. I probably should have left it. But I think that's part of what set them in that robbing mode. And I think that's a big part of why later in the video when I go back to put feeders in, you'll see there's a lot of fully drawn comb that had honey in it before, and now it doesn't. I think I pulled too much resource on them at the wrong time and it scared them. I should have harvested it earlier if I was going to harvest it, and they would have continued to fill other boxes up. But it is what it is, and we're feeding them internally with 2-to-1 SERP, and hopefully they'll be okay. We're going to back feed them heavy for fall, and we've got an extra resource we can drop on them if we need to in the spring. So that's that. So now we'll jump into the feeding video. I started with open feeding for lack of time, and then I switched over to internal feeding. You'll see. Okay, we got some wild activity going on here. I got a feeling those bees are really ticked I took their honey. I might need to put that other box back on. I was planning to get some sugar to feed them with today at Hannaford, but it was so packed I didn't want to lose an hour and a half in there. But maybe I'll shoot up to the other Hannaford and get some, because I think they need some fuel. Okay, I went and got some sugar. Went back to the store that I tried to avoid because of traffic in a full parking lot. I got some sugar, made some 2-to-1 sugar syrup up, and I'm back here with it. And I brought along a stainless pan, and I got some straw that I picked up for mulch for the garlic, but also as a top for the pan. I'll show you. We're going to do open feeding with some 2-to-1 syrup today. Try and get these guys off of the hives and stop going after each other by making it available. So I've got a stainless steel chafing dish here that I'm going to put the 2-to-1 syrup into. And I should just preface this by saying as soon as I can get more organized toward it, I'm going to do internal feeding with the feeders like we had back in the spring. But for now, because I don't have a lot of time to mess with hives today, and because they are in dire need of nutrients, sugars, fuel, I'm going to feed them in this open feeding. So I'm just going to pour the syrup in here, and the straw basically will float on top of the syrup and give them a surface to land on so that they don't end up drowning, because you don't want to drown them. You want them to come in, get the resource, take it back to the hive. Now, 2-to-1 syrup is different from 1-to-1 syrup. 1-to-1 syrup we do in the spring to build up nests and to provide direct fuel sources for the colony. 2-to-1 syrup is twice as strong syrup to water, basically. That's by weight. So I did 5 pounds of water to 10 pounds of sugar for this batch. And that's something that they can actually pack away into the honey cells. And so they can actually store it as a reserve just like they would nectar, except that it's just sugar. It's a good alternative method for feeding bees when you don't have nectar resources available. The reason we don't have any nectar resources available really to speak of now is the goldenrod is basically past, and we had a frost last week, so that knocked out a lot of the stuff that would ordinarily still be flowering. All right, let's get to it. Just poured it out, and you can see how the straw floats on top and provides this surface for them to land on and access the sugar without drowning in it. Okay, I just went down and planted garlic quick, and now I'm back to check. It looks like they're finally finding it. Seems awfully slow for them to find it, but I guess once they get in this sort of a state. And you know, that I should mention that is why I should actually be feeding with internal feeders. But I'm hoping they'll pick this up here and make a run this afternoon still. Now that we got several on it, I imagine they will report the resources. Hopefully some of those are scouts. garlic all mulched up and stuff. Just checking back before I take a station break. And we got more bees in here now, but still not as many as I would like to see by any means. So maybe tomorrow I will try and get switched out with the boxes here, get rid of the boxes that are empty, or maybe throw an empty box on and put a feeder in it, something. I gotta figure out something, but that's not gonna be today. Straw down in a heavy layer, fairly heavy layer, and that's shredded straw, so it packs a little tighter. And when I come back from the coffee break, I gotta try to remember to bring some water. I just want to wet it down so it doesn't get blown away if we get some winds or something. And yeah, it looks nice and should get us started back into garlic again. Well, now there we go. That's a little better. We definitely got a lot more activity coming in here. I still see fighting in there. That's crazy. Well, so tomorrow, I guess. Oh man, I don't have a lot of time for it, but tomorrow I guess I should try and get those internal feeders set up on these hives and maybe pull any extra frames or pull enough frames on that third box to make space for the feeder to sit in there. That's going to take a little bit of time to orchestrate, but I think that's worth doing. We can get them a fuel source so they can build back up, and they can have it internal so they can pull from it even when it's cold out and they can't fly, and it'll help prevent this infighting we're seeing even in the open feeder source. It's just crazy. They have all this resource and they still fight about it. But good to see lots of bees in there working. That means that they're at least pulling from resources other than robbing from each other. So that's a head in the right direction. And I guess tomorrow we'll try and get this straightened out the rest of the way. We have rain coming Monday, supposedly an inch. Looks like Monday into Tuesday, pretty solid rain. That'll be good for the garlic and good for everything. I suppose while we're here, we'll have a look at these honeybee colonies thermally quick, just to get a little bit different perspective on things. But the front of that hive sure is lit up with bees. Warm, well, hot honeybees. Running at 72, 73 degrees in there, 78, 79. That bottom box looks like it's full of bees, and I see heat rising to the top of the top box. It's another reason we have to get that third box off, is to keep that heat down in the lower two boxes. This one's similar action. 8 frame, similar. We'll take a look at them from the back side. Here we are from the back side, southernmost hive. Middle hive. More heat in the back on the top two there, huh? And finally the northernmost 8 frame hive. I just figure while we had the thermal camera we'd take a look. And there's the turkeys over there. Nice and warm. Monday, October 20th, 2025. Well, we got that rain overnight and it cleared out nice this morning. The sun came out. It was windy but fairly clear. And then in the last half hour or 45 minutes, as I was prepping up to come up here, of course, it started to get some feed into these hives, into the upper box, so they're not fighting over resources out here. I don't want to encourage robbing any more than we had. They did clear out that first 10 pounds of sugar. Looks like we lost a few bees in the process for some reason. Not a big deal though. Bee populations are dropping this time of year anyway. So what I'm going to do, I brought 3 of the internal feeders for the upper box. I brought an empty box so I have a place to stick frames as I pull them out to make room for the feeders to go in. I'm going to try and film this. We'll see what the rain does. I just want to get through this quickly and not expose them to a lot of cool weather and not disturbed by the hives a lot, but they definitely need some feed to help set them up for a solid winter. So we're going to get all over that. Right, we got hive 1, we got a smoker, put an empty box, something to stick over top of it, and we're going to jump right in and go. Even just might not smoke the front at all. The less disturbance, the better. Yeah, not too busy in here. These are all pretty much empty frames. We need so real simple. I'm just going to pop 4 in the middle out. And just drop this feeder down already. Well, smoker would go up right here. We got some wet smoker wood slow things down a bit. Wow, they got those glued down good already. Oh yeah, we got some bees on there. So I'm going to shake these each. Kind of rough. Didn't mean to be rough. Just gotta get them off of these empty frames. Man. And then we'll drop the feeder in. Okay, I'll just give you a peek in there quick. They're actually quite content at the moment. But we did see that Robbie sort of traffic out front still today, so the sugar. Right, this is 2-to-1 SERP for fall feeding, so twice as strong as the spring feeding SERP. I'm just going to set down on top of the frames here. Oh, I got ladies clinging to me. Just like that. We're going to do the same on the other 2 boxes. Well, let's roll. Yeah, I guess they don't like that so much. But they're going to like what we're going to do. Oh boy. You know what? Quite a bit of comb drawn on most of these. Let's let's see. Yeah, there's a few empties on here. So we're going to pull. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But there's a few empty frames on the edges. So I'm going to pull 4 frames out of here. So we can fit our feeder in. These are partially, well, drawn comb and honey on some of them. But like this one's empty. So is this one. And I probably don't even necessarily need to feed them, given the third box has got some honey in it. But I just want to make sure they have the best opportunities for survival. And not just survival, but thrival. Surviving's good, thriving's way better. So let's see, this one's got comb on it. Drawn comb. We don't see any nectar. So beautiful. Built up comb for starting next year. So even just in that, we made progress this year. Just having foundation built back up. Let's see if we can just get this 4th one out. Ugh. There we go. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Fully drawn, pretty much, empty comb. All the way across the board. Same on this side. Beautiful. We're set up for nice for next year. And that gets us 4 wide. And I'm actually curious now. While we're in here. Yeah, that's empty too. Okay. So I'm going to move. I'm going to move them even on each edge. Oh, here they come. Hope the camera angle's good. Yeah, okay. I'm going to move them onto each edge. These are empty, no nectar now too. It's like they just got totally drained back out of any nectar that they had saved. So there's a lot of drawn comb in here. This is basically, yeah, all drawn comb in these 6 frames. So that sets us up for nice for next year for honey. All right. So in we go with the sugar blast. Just want to make a clean spot to set this. Here you go, ladies. I think you're going to like that a lot. Feels good to feed them. Give something back to them. Rock and roll. Pretty quiet in here. I'm gonna pop this box for a minute quick. We didn't lose this colony here at the end. That'd be crazy. Oh no, we got bees in there. Okay. Alright, so then we're just gonna pull 4 of these. And I got one more 2-to-1 sugar syrup for them. I think they are going to all be very happy to have some feed. And that's it. We're going to close them back up. Let them rock for now. And we'll check back on feed. They do make hive top feeders as well as frame feeders. Those are coming out, huh? But I didn't want to spend the time to go do that today to go get them. But I may pick up some hive top feeders so as cool weather comes on we can keep a feed going up until we can't. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll pull back and have a look at things. So here we are about 5 minutes later. Look at that. That right-hand hive activity calmed right down. There's still a few on the entrance, but not all wound up like they were before. We still have a little of this Robbie type activity flying around the second hive here, but nowhere near as pronounced as it was. And I imagine after an overnight with a good feed source available to them, that'll calm down. So, not bad on the timing because it's just starting to sprinkle again. So we just dodged the raindrops and made sure they got some feed. And when I do my grocery shopping this week, I'll pick up some more sugar for them. All right, that's it. I thought we'd just take a quick check on the honeybees. As you recall, we put feed on yesterday, or actually, if you haven't seen the BVD, you probably wouldn't know that, but we put feeders on inside the hives yesterday. Still see quite a bit of strong activity here on the right-hand hive. Still a little bit of like robbing behavior here on the middle hive up top. I don't know, we're just going to keep feeding them. Probably check it and top it off every other day or third day, something like that. And we'll take that right out until we can't feed them anymore. Make sure their nests are backfilled with a solid block of resources. I thought I saw some pollen coming in there, but now I don't see any. So maybe not. Checking back on honeybees. still see that like attempting to rob activity on this middle hive. And I don't know why they think they're going to get in that way. We got an inner cover on tight, and we got the outer cover on over that. There should be no way for them to get in there. I'm going to double check that when I put this feed on. Other than that, the other two hives seem fairly ordinary traffic. We still have some foragers returning. So they're pulling something, or at least out scouting for something. And we'll put a fresh load of feed on here. I don't even know how much. We'll see how much they used, I guess, first. But probably went through it, I would imagine. We're going to go into hive 1. I'm not even going to run smoke today. If they get really feisty, I might light it up. It's pretty cool. I don't expect them to be too difficult. Oh, wow. Well, that's interesting. It looks like they're starting to use it now. One thing I did find out after I put it in, when I watched a video on making the syrup, the guy said stick it in the fridge for storage, and of course that makes sense. But what I found later on when I did a little bit more reading is if you're going to feed 2-to-1 syrup, you want it to be above 50 degrees because apparently the bees won't take it below 50. It's basically too cold and kind of cold shocks them. So this came out of the fridge and went in. It's probably taken a couple of days to warm up to a temperature that they'll take it at. This new batch that I made, I did not refrigerate overnight. I just let it sit out. It went down to about 55 overnight. So I kept it cool, but I was hoping it would be a little more accessible for bees. Enough of my babble. Let's let you have a look in there. So they're up in this third box, and there's quite a few bees around the feeder. It looks like they are starting to take some from it. But you can see, looking at it, they haven't taken much out of it yet. I'm hoping now, as it's warming up, it'll be better. I might break out my thermal camera for this, and we'll figure out how cold that stuff is. Actually, let me do that. Okay, I don't want to keep this open long, but I went and grabbed the thermal camera. I'm not wearing any gloves. These guys are very chill, literally chill today. Anyway, I don't want to keep this open for too long and chill them out, but you can see that, yeah, it's 51.3, so it probably just made a reasonable temperature for them today. But nice to be able to check that without picking it up and hefting it and trying to guess. All right, let's check the middle hive now. Okay, so that notch in the inner cover is up in the front in this one. Interesting. Let's take a look. Oh, see, this one they're using it for. So maybe the other hive is better off resource-wise. And we'll take a look. All right, looking at the middle hive, we've used a lot more of that. Oh, and the solution is sitting at 61. So more bees in this colony, I'm guessing, is probably a big factor in why this hive is warmer. Very interesting. But they've used about half of that, so I'm not even going to bother topping that up for now. All right, let's do the 8 frame. I should get that out of here, actually, because I'm probably not going to use that. Oh wow, they've used about half of theirs too. So maybe that first hive, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. And looking at the temperature of that, that's at 61.2 Fahrenheit as well. So, yeah, no need to top off right now, but it looks like they're starting to burn the resource. So we'll check them maybe day after tomorrow. You can see how I probably don't even need the gloves or the bee suit. It's just kind of a precaution. Better safe than sorry, right? So now we're going to ask ourselves, why is that south hive so much colder? And that's kind of a difficult question to answer without digging down in, until we look at our thermal signature. And we can see on that right-hand hive that the heat is down at the bottom, and it's cold up in that third box. So what I should do next warmer day we have for this is pull that third box off and have a look into that second box's resources and see if there's any honey even left in that. Or if you recall, that was third box before. And this hive, we see the heat in the heat up in the top box quite a bit, and a little bit down on the entrance board and lower part of the entranceway. But good heat cluster up in the top of that box. And this one seems to be pretty evenly distributed. So yeah.